are at WCIT and we continue our interviews, and we are hosting Steve Chan, Security and Technology Advisor. So my first question is, in this year of and this era of technology, so are there any fields where IT is dangerous or risky?
Dangerous or risky? Like cyber? Dangerous or risky?
For example, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cyber is definitely an area that we should all be paying attention to. I think it's been maybe put in the background for a long time. But even at this conference, I've heard so many startups talk about cyber ideas that are just great. And I think the major cyber achievements that will come forth will definitely come from the startup ecosystem. Not the big companies, perhaps, not the Silicon Valleys, but from the IT startups.
So what can these kinds of conferences bring to startups and to countries which are developing IT, like Armenia?
Oh, crossbreeding of ideas from startups in different fields. They might complement each other nicely technologically on a technological stack. Different countries, I saw, for example, Malaysia here. We've been talking Estonia that has very successfully accomplished a lot of things in the digital ecosystem. So I think always a kind of mingling of the ideas, mixing everything up is always a good thing. To bring coders, computer scientists, hardware engineers, policy folks, all those folks together.
So now IT is also used in the defense, and for example, Armenia's defense also is trying to use some IT achievements. How do you think, will it prevent us from having privacy and security assured or no?
Yeah, I think the defense forces learning from history. Nowadays, before you even have to move anything, like a tank across a border, you can basically use cyber to shut things down, as we've seen before historically in many, many examples. If you shut things down and there's no defense system on the other side, or you shut down the electrical grid and they can't communicate or use their computers, then you're halfway there. So I think it's a very good thing. With regards to your question about privacy, there's always a fine balance between, how much is too much and things like that. I think that the good conversations here are leading in the right direction. But I think this is being discussed worldwide. It's not just in Armenia. So these are things we have to talk about and think about.
People are also talking about smart cities a lot. Do you think this idea and concept of us having a smart city will also attack the data protection and privacy protection?
Yes, no, that's a phenomenal point. So if we have smart devices, like a smart coffee machine, totally, we would just have my coffee set in the morning. But that coffee maker might not have been designed to be protected against a cyber attack. So it is one device in the Internet of Things that could be compromised, and that's something we have to think about. So there's a convenience factor, and then there's also, what's beyond the convenience factor, what is the vulnerability? So for example, if we have suddenly a smart home, what happens if all of a sudden things didn't work, correct? And they were compromised. Or a baby monitor is suddenly, or a camera in the home is suddenly looking at us, and we think we're private, but we're really not. That's why so many people put the little piece of the tape, on their laptop cameras, etc. Yes, it's a fine balance between convenience and security and privacy.
What do you think, will these machines and AI, or the use of this technology, lead to a decrease in jobs? Is it a reality, or we have not to be afraid of this?
You know what, every time we've gone through a shift of more computers, we say, well, if we have a computer, we can basically, we don't need these people over here. But every time there's been a technological change, it's also created a new class. Well, so for example, when certain technology came about, it created a class of new programmers, right? So a programming class was created. I heard on the radio the other day that there was an interview and they said, for Google, inside the Google buildings, more than half are contractors doing support staff and even doing the testing, coding. So more than half are non-Google employees inside a Google complex. So hopefully it'll increase job opportunities in ways we might not even have thought of.
So, and to sum up, we have a conference here, a big one, and
Yes.
what has surprised you? Maybe you have heard something that you were not expecting to, and maybe some of the panels were very interesting to you.
Oh, I sure hope that people are able to take a look at the pictures of this facility and what's going on here, because I was kind of extremely impressed in terms of expectations. This has gone above my level of expectations by quite a bit. It's like, wow, this is a great event. Learned a lot, and what a convening. So I think the Armenian government, the host of this conference, WCIT, what a great job they did.
Thank you. It was a really good end of our interview, so stay tuned to NEWS.am.